This is the Dark Iron Gains podcast. I'm not sure which episode, but we're doing something a little different today. All right, I got myself on the bottom of the screen, and I'm gonna be talking over me and my homie lifting. We're doing bench, so I'm gonna do a bit of commentary about the workout as well as talk about some stuff that's just on my mind. All right, I got a couple things on my mind, a couple unsettled issues that I want to talk about. But anyways, in the video, we're doing chest. I got it right here in front of me. We're working out chest. I went a bit heavy today. This set right here is I don't know which. Maybe this. We did some warm-ups and then we went into a little bit of a heavier set. I'm trying to get to 315, 3-plate bench. So I've been lifting a lot heavier to do that. But anyways, I wanted to talk about a couple things. One of them being the whole Connor Murphy situation. If you guys have been following that whole ordeal, Connor Murphy apparently tried, from what I'm hearing, from what my sources tell me, he tried ayahuasca, and then he started calling all his friends and stuff, and he was tripping out, he was sounding crazy, and I watched the videos, and it's he sounds not all the way there, unfortunately, which is sad. Thoughts and prayers for my homie Connor Murphy. I don't know you personally, but you're in my thoughts and my prayers. But anyways, people watch Joe Rogan one time and they think, oh, I'm gonna try some DMT. All right, all these gurus are telling me, how about I do DMT? All right, all these gurus say, let's do DMT. All right, it makes your life better. It makes you more like enlightened and trippy and blah 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 blah. All right, and I think that is BS. All right, you don't need DMT to enlighten yourself. All right. I don't think you need to go out on some crazy journey, some crazy little, I'm with some tribes, and this guy, he grabbed a bunch of roots, and then he stuck them together, and now I'm drinking it, and he boiled it, and blah, 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 and now I'm tripping balls, I got diarrhea. No, dude, you don't gotta do that, all right? You don't gotta go on some crazy spiritual journey to get enlightened, all right? You gotta work on yourself, bro. Answers don't come from DMT, all right? You gotta focus on yourself. You gotta focus on improving yourself. Maybe read a book, all right? Maybe read some interesting stuff. And this isn't towards Connor Murphy, all right? I'm not specifically calling out Connor Murphy here. I don't know his situation. By the way, this is me doing 315 for the negatives, and then I was having help on the way up. It might look like I hit it. But just to clarify, I didn't hit it. I had help on the way up, all right? I want to be honest with y'all. I want to be 100% honest, all right? I got integrity. I'm not going to sit here and lie to y'all. He helped me on the way up. I got 2 negatives, going down, and then he helped me on the way up just to get used to the weight. And I think that kind of helps a lot when it comes to strength training. Just throw it on the bar, do it safely, do it smart, and if you can hit it, you can hit it. If you can't, then get your homie to spot you, all right? But anyways, like I was saying about Mr. Connor Murph, our good pal Connor Murphy, he went on a spiritual journey and ayahuasca, blah, blah, blah. And all these gurus, they tell you, man, they're like, I read this book by David Aspey or some shit. And he said, that he did an ayahuasca trip. And the guy from London Real says he's done it. Of course, Joe Rogan talks about it in every single fucking podcast. And Dorian Yates is all about it. Whatever, all right? Those guys, it's like, if it's not weed, it's DMT. It's like, oh, bro, come smoke. It's like, bro, weed cures everything. And it's like, okay, well, the next step is DMT cures everything, all right? I bet, I'm calling it right now. In a couple years, everyone's going to say, research shows DMT actually cures AIDS or cures cancer or some bull crap. And I'm not saying weed doesn't, all right? I'm just saying maybe it's not the end all, be all. But I went on a tangent, all right? I went on a little tangent there. What I was getting at is you don't have to go out and do some crazy, trippy spiritual journey in order to feel enlightened or in order to get happy. You know, happiness isn't necessarily anything you can achieve through some one-time spiritual journey or some one-time trip you have. All right, I think happiness comes from consistently setting and achieving and having a vision and a purpose. And if you're not doing that, then you're probably not happy. All right. That's why these people who are in Hollywood, these famous actors, they get famous, they get rich and all that, and it's like they're at the top of the food chain now. Where can they go from there? It's like they have nowhere else to go, so they get depressed. And I feel you, bro. All right. So happiness, I wouldn't say, oh, you got to trip on DMT or you got to get into these obscure political or religious sort of ideologies to be happy. It's like that shit doesn't lead to happiness. I think purpose, goals, discipline, good habits, all is a great formula to be happy. All right. If you got a vision and you got a purpose and you're doing something every single day to achieve that, then you're going to feel good about yourself no matter what, all right? You're going to feel like you have a purpose. And having a purpose is what gives you that life. That vision and that purpose gives you life. You feel like you're living, you're not just going with the motions, and DMT, maybe DMT makes you think like, oh, I was a baby, and when I was a baby, my mom didn't hold me enough, and that's why I'm upset. Okay, whatever. Maybe it does make you think that. But that's not a good way to look at it. I think, I've never done DMT, so I'm just speaking out of turn a little bit. But this is also me doing negatives as well. He's helping me on the way up, all right? 315 negatives. But anyways, like I was saying, purpose, vision, goals. I think that's gonna, in the long run, that is what leads to some sort of structure and some sort of happiness in your life. As long as you're working towards those things, you'll have a purpose, And when you have a purpose, it's like you're living. You're not just going with emotions. You're actually living your life. You feel alive, all right? You feel like you're vibrant. There's like something in the air that it gives you drive. You have a reason to wake up every day, and that's honestly, I think that's the best way to approach that sort of situation. I don't think drugs or substance abuse is a good idea. And I wouldn't recommend it because I've never done it. So I can't really speak if it works or not. But personally, I don't think it's a good idea. Whenever you're living with life or whenever you're living a life with purpose in it, whatever that purpose is, it gives, like I said, it gives you a drive. All right, you feel whole, you feel like together, you feel whole. You have these good habits that keep you moving. All right. And when it comes to habits, I don't mean like smoking and stuff like that. I mean whenever it comes to good habits, you have to condition yourself to get up and do stuff that in the long run is good for your mental health, all right? So for instance, here's a little example that I have for y'all that I'm going to talk about that really hits home, all right? It really drives the point home. To myself anyways. So when it comes to doing the dishes, all right, we all have dishes, we all have dirty dishes, we all live somewhere and there's a dirty dish in a sink at some point in time where you live. And something that really bothers me is when the sink is full of dirty dishes. All right, I can't stand looking at a sink full of dirty dishes. And back in the day, it used to not bother me, all right? Back in the day, I used to be able to look at a sink of dirty dishes and just add on to it. I used to be able to say, oh, who cares, whatever. I'm just going to throw this dirty plate on top. Someone else will take care of it. But that's not the way to look at it, all right? When you see a sink full of dirty dishes, you got to say, that's disgusting, and I'm about to wash these hoes, all right? So, for me, the way I established that habit of keeping my sink clean is every time I saw or every time I used a dish, I would at least rinse it off and put it in the dishwasher. And so the sink was always clean. And I got so used to seeing the sink clean that I thought, whenever I would see a dish in it, I thought, you know what, I gotta get that out of there, because it makes me feel uncomfortable to see that dish in the sink. All right? And so the way you establish a good habit is you have to somewhat become OCD about stuff. All right? Like whenever I leave my house and my bed's kind of messy, I always make the bed because I'm OCD about it. I don't like the way it looks. I like things to be in order. I like things to be in a certain place. Even here at my garage gym, I keep all the weights on the rack. And then the only reason I have these 45s on here right now is because I don't have enough room on my rack, so I at least keep them on the bar. But I like to keep things tidy and organized, and that helps me feel like I have some sort of control in my life. Like I have some sort of structure and control over where my life is going, because I keep things organized. And I think that is probably a key when it comes to living a life that you feel like you're in control of. All right, if you want to get a grip on your life, and you want to be in control, 100% in control of your life, then you got to come to terms with, stuff that you do that makes you unhappy, and then you got to fix that. Stuff that you do that you act on impulse, or stuff that you do and you don't think you can stop doing, but you know you should, then just work at trying to stop doing those things. Stuff that damages you in some sort of way, mentally, physically, whatever. Get a grip on your life, get a grip on the things around you, keep things organized, and you'll feel like you're doing something with yourself. And the way you do that is not through willpower, because willpower, I'm not going to lie, willpower gets old, all right? There's going to be days where you wake up and you're thinking, I don't want to do this, all right? And so you don't. But if you have a habit of doing that, then it's a different story. Then your willpower doesn't necessarily matter when it comes to taking care of things and keeping things in order and keeping your life tidy and having a life full of purpose and order. But I'm going on a tangent here. Thoughts and prayers to Connor Murphy. I don't know the full extent of the story, but I just thought I'd talk about it, sharing my thoughts on it, because I had a lot of thoughts on it. All right, I've been sitting on it for a few days because I think this broke. I don't know when it broke. I think it broke like 3 days ago, and I missed it the first day. And yesterday and the day before yesterday, I spent looking into it, and I watched the interview with him and his parents, and he's not making any sense, and it's kind of crazy, and it sounds a little bit like a rant that I would do. But anyways, this is probably close to one of our last sets. I think we got about 5 more minutes of just flat bench. After flat bench in the garage home gym, we ended up doing Incline Flyes, all right, Incline Dumbbell Flies, and a lot of people dog that movement. I get a lot of crap for doing that movement, but it's actually, I felt it pretty good, all right. I felt it, I'm not even gonna lie, I felt it pretty good. My shoulders don't feel bad from doing it. Everyone says, oh dude, you're gonna hurt your shoulders doing it that way, bro. Bro, you're gonna hurt your shoulder. Come on, dude. But no, I did not hurt my shoulder. I actually felt great doing it. And then after that, we did a decline dumbbell press on the adjustable bench, and that felt great. It was a great movement, and my chest feels great right now. I got a good pump. My mind's racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. It's 10 o'clock at night, and I got work in the morning, but I wanted to record this podcast, all right? There's a couple other things that I'm going to talk about real quick. I'm going to touch on, and then maybe I'll do another podcast about it later. But one of them being, I talked about this in my community fitness video, but another one being, if you're into obscure sort of scenes, just for the sake of them being obscure, that is probably the most douchey thing you could do. So don't get into something because it's obscure, but get into something because you genuinely are into that, because you genuinely feel like it has some sort of impact. All right, you actually vibe with that. You're not just following, you're not just following some dude who's into that, or you're not trying to impress somebody. All right, for instance, classic example here. All right, everyone always tells me, bro, you have to listen to Neutral Milk Hotel, Aeroplane Over the Sky. And so I did, and it was the most boring album I have ever listened to, all right? I was so bored, I fell asleep while driving at noon after I just woke up from a 10-hour nap, because it was such a fucking boring album. I don't know when it came out, I think like in the 90s or some shit, but it has so much hype, and it is so boring to listen to. But anyways, everyone always tells me, bro, listen to it, and it's like, bro, do you actually like that? It's so boring, like how do you like that, alright? And at that moment, when people tell me stuff like that, and it's not just Neutral Milk Hotel, maybe you actually do like them, and cool if you do. I'm not saying you're a poser for liking Neutral Milk Hotel, but just don't be a poser, don't be a fucking idiot, don't be a poser for, just don't get into some obscure shit just so you can say that you're into some obscure shit, alright? Just don't be a fucking poser, because that's what makes you a poser. All the people who are into obscure shit are like, oh dude, you're a poser, bro, alright? You're not into this, you're an actual poser. But it's really the other way around, alright? I love mainstream shit. I love 311, alright? I listen to Amber, I listen to Down, not the band Down, but I listen to the song Down by 311, and I listen to Incubus. And those are what I vibe to now, alright? I don't vibe to indie shit. I don't vibe to Aeroplane Over the Sky, or any of that other bull crap. I don't listen to American football. I'm just kidding, I do listen to American football, but I try not to, because I don't listen to sad music. I keep the energy high, alright? I want to stay high on life, and I want to be full of life. I don't want to down myself by listening to depressing music. So anyways, don't be a poser. If you're into something obscure, cool, but don't get into it because it's obscure, alright? And that's basically what my message is, because that makes you the biggest poser in the world, and ultimately, you're a big fat douche. That's it. Peace.